project was divided into 3 sections. So we looked at plants, and what we put in the brief there was funding for a greenhouse to develop the outside space. We have a relatively small outside space here. It's an outside terrace. So we haven't got the luxury of having beautiful gardens, but we wanted to put a greenhouse on there and sort of then work out from the greenhouse. We asked for some ergonomic tools, so for those with very arthritic hands, some adaptive tools basically, and some plants to get us going. But very much with the plants element is that we wanted to bring the outside in for those people who either don't want to or don't have the confidence, or indeed don't have the physical capability to go out anymore. And so that encompassed things like artificial bushes and trees, and artificial plants actually. If you buy them from good enough places, they look really good. And so that was that element of the funding.
I came out one night and I looked at them, I said to myself, my son and this one, well, I've got to chop mine into the stems and kill the beans. Yeah. Well then, shift the inside. Strawberries in the heat, but we've been picking them as they've been coming. This one is, as you know, cucumber. They're everywhere around here now, there will be later on. Very nice fish. I like drinking this stew or a soup or anyway, fried dish, boiled dish, any dish.
Project Nurture was developed by one of our managers, Helen Bevan, which was absolutely fantastic, the way of, sort of bringing outside in. With the staff, they coped brilliantly with it because, often people don't like change, but it brought a whole new way of interacting with the residents, making them feel more comfortable, making them feel more content. The families have been really very receptive to it because they can see the huge impact that it has on their loved one. When their loved one is happy, they just feel so much more or so much less anxious about leaving them in a care home, because it can be a huge change for the families, and that can have a huge impact on their life and how they're feeling. And if they know that their relative is cared for, is happy and content, then that makes them feel at ease.
The animal element of the project was very experimental, because at that stage we weren't able to have a live pet at Baglan Lodge. But what we wanted to do is create the illusion that there were pets around. I think that's a very powerful thing. If you go and visit somebody's house and there are dog bowls around and a dog lead hanging up on the hook, then you instantly know, if you're a dog owner, that this person's all right because they've got a dog. And so we wanted to create that illusion. To further that, we got some, fake pets. We got a couple of puppies and a couple of kittens, which you might see, that have got a little breathing reflex. So we go through rather a lot of double D batteries, but it's an incredibly comforting thing, both for those with capacity, because actually we dot them around rather than putting them on people's laps, and for those that really have lost their way a little bit and live in an alternate reality, that they actually believe that they're real pets. The arm of the project I think that most of the staff have been most surprised about are the babies. Now, we put in funding for a couple of pushchairs, real size pushchairs. We haven't got space, I'm afraid, for a cot, otherwise we'd have one. And we put in funding for 3 or 4 babies, dolls. We've had some rather successful moments with dolls and some remarkably unsuccessful moments. I would say as a top tip, don't buy a cheap doll. Make sure you buy something that has got jointed arms and actually is the right size. But that's been a very successful part of the project because we have several ladies and indeed one gentleman who actually believe that the dolls are babies, and they get an inordinate amount of pride and comfort and purpose in their day from looking after what they see is their child.
We feel at Baglan Lodge it's not just about looking after the person and their personal care needs, it's about making them feel comfortable and making them feel that they are still a person, they are still their own person, and that they have a good quality of life in their later stages of life, just to make sure that they've got everything around them that they could possibly want and need, that they're happy, that they've got their relatives around them, that they've got their personal belongings around them as well. That's really important.
My Home Life Cymru has given us a massive opportunity, really. We'd never have been able to do it without the collaboration between My Home Life Cymru and the Burdett Nursing Trust. It's just terrific.